Good morning all, it's Cliff here from a very wet and drizzly West Midlands on a Tuesday morning. Now, I want to talk to you about exercise rep ranges and tempos. Are they really that important? In short, yes they are. When you consider the multitudes of different ways to train with resistance training, you can appreciate that there are so many learned, educated difference of opinions. And do you know what I say? I say it is down to the individual. Now some people say, oh, it's down to the sport, you're a marathon runner, you know, you've got to do long, drawn out resistance training, because they do. The marathon runners, they do resistance training. Or are you like the shot put athlete that, bam, he's thrown the shot put, activity over? Do you do short, explosive exercises? Well, you know, this is a difficult subject because it's down to, so much so, to personal opinion. Let me give you my experience and tell you my story, and then you guys and girls out there can decide whether you believe what I'm saying or you think I'm talking a load of rubbish, I don't know what I'm talking about or whatever. But I've done weight training now. I'm 50 years old and I've probably been doing it really since I'm about 20. So, you know, I've been doing it a long time. I say weight training, not bodybuilding. Now that's a different subject completely. And I've read all the articles about super slow and ballistic training, you know, you name it. I've tried them. And it comes down really to two complete different contrasts. On the one side of the coin, you've got super slow training. You know the resistance type training where it's 10 seconds. If say you're doing a squat, the back squats, you would do 10 seconds in the concentric, the pushing up the weight, and then 10 seconds in the eccentric, the coming down with the weight. And I have also done ballistic training. If you take the back squat, the jumping back squat with a couple of dumbbells or kettlebells, you know, and you jump up as high as you can, and you come down. From the downward force, you're absorbing the force, and then you're springing back up again. So we've got like the two different contrasts. And as I say, this is just my personal opinion, and merely my personal opinion. But I can't really see the necessity of super slow training outside of rehabilitation purposes. I don't see it holds any functionality for sports or just general day-to-day activities. Let me explain to you why. Keeping with the example of the back squat. If somebody sits down in a chair, it is true that they will lower themselves, or should lower themselves, into the chair with relative control, relative muscular control. They don't thump down into the chair, do they? If they did and it was a wooden chair, dining room chair, and they thump down onto the chair, they run the risk of severely bruising the coccyx muscle at the base of the lumbar spine. And so we don't advise thumping down into dining chairs. So they will come down and sit down with control. But the actual physical act of pushing yourself out of that chair, it's got to be, it's got to be that explosion, that initial starting, you know what I mean, of muscle contraction. The muscle doesn't super slow contract, does it? If you want to get out of an armchair, it is an initial to get out the armchair. For most, there might be exceptions of the elderly, or where people have had an accident, suffered an injury, a back injury, or something like that, where they needed aided help out the chair. But for most of us, I'm talking about, that initial getting out of the chair. It's immediate. There is an immediate contraction of the muscles to initiate the movement. There has to be that initial spark. So where does super slow training come into it? With functionality? It doesn't, does it? There is no functionality there at all. None. If you take a sporting pursuit, you take a sprinter. You take a sprinter, a 100-meter sprinter. They're on the blocks. On your marks, set. At that point where they say set, and then the gun goes off, it's that explosion of power, that immediate. That's what I want you to take from this talk. The word immediate. It's that immediate muscular contraction, which is explosive. It is not super slow. So you had two examples there. One of somebody getting out of a chair, and one of a top sports person, such as an Olympic 100-meter sprinter. Both times, the muscle is contracting immediately, not super slowly. So I cannot see any benefit to super slow training whatsoever. The argument, of course, is, but you're missing the point, they say. The super slow gang. But you're missing the point. Well, tell us then, what we're missing. It's time under tension. That's what it is. Oh, I see. So you mean from a hypertrophic point of view, you want to get your muscles bigger. like a bodybuilder. Yes, that's what we're saying. Oh, right. So the exercise of doing a back squat should take, say, about 40 seconds, 50 seconds. Yes, if not more. Ah, right. So the muscle's under tension longer, so the muscle's working harder. Correct? Yes, they say. Now you've got it. Now the pennies drop. No. No, no, no. Absolutely no. That's complete and utter rubbish. Complete and utter rubbish. I can guarantee you, if you've done a super slow rep for back squats, and then you'd have to do that for super slow. Let's put it, sorry, make it a bit more easy. Let's say you can back squat, your 1 rep maximum to back squat is 100 kilograms. And let's say you're experimenting, you're doing between super slow and explosive rep back squats. So you start off with your super slow, and you will probably have to chamfer down your 1 rep maximum from 100 kilograms to probably 20 kilograms, 30 kilograms. Okay? So you do your super set. You do your super set of super slow reps. Okay? And the set takes you over 60 seconds to complete 8 reps. And you finish the rep, and you feel it in your quadriceps, you feel the burn of the lactic acid build up, and you really know that you have worked out your quad muscles. So you think. All it is blood, it's an occlusion of the blood. Much the same as isometrics. They'll make you stronger, yeah. The super strong, super slow thing, yeah, will make you strong because you're training against resistance, aren't you? Anything you do. Picking up bags of spuds all day is going to get your legs stronger, isn't it? You know what I mean? Yeah, like I say, that is where it sort of finishes. Because of the blood occlusion effect. You've stopped the blood flow. Right? Then when you stop the blood flow literally in its tracks when you're doing the super slow rep. When you finish a super slow rep and the blood begins then to flow through the muscles again, it flushes through the muscles, and you get this pumped, pleasant, pumped, sorry, pumped. You get this pleasant, pumped effect. And that's all it is. That is all it is. You take the guy that's going to do his explosive reps, let's say he's going to do 3 reps. Okay? So he does his 3 reps with 80% of his 1 rep maximum. But he moves the weight in dragster start mode as fast as he possibly can. During the workout, multiple sets of super slow are performed by one group, and multiple sets of the explosive reps are performed by another group. The thing about it is, the group that's doing the super slow, they are beginning to fatigue at the rate of knots. People might say, that's a good thing. What are you talking about? That's a good thing. That shows that the muscle's working, doesn't it? No, it doesn't, actually. So the muscle, the exercise method of super slow is rendered useless at the end of it. Whereas the group that's doing the explosive dragster start style reps, pushing them up as fast as they can. Don't forget, they've got 80 kilograms, 80% of their 1 rep max is 100 kilograms on. You don't think they're going to throw it up like it's a feather across their shoulders, do you? Because they ain't. But it's the intention of moving that weight, that resistance, fast. They won't move it fast, but they're intending to move it fast. And what they do is they stimulate the central nervous system immensely more than super slow. Immeasurably more. Consequently, they stimulate the white muscle fiber, okay, which is the fast twitch fiber, which is the muscle that's responsible for strength, not endurance, for strength. The explosive group, each and every rep, each and every set, I beg your pardon, what's up with me this morning, need a cup of tea. Each and every set, they increase the weight resistance. So by the end of their workout, they've done 8 sets, for example, and they've been increasing the weight resistance up by only 2 or 3 kilograms each and every time till they are maxing out, right, with a weight of about 96-97% of their 1 rep maximum. The thing about it is, this is known as a condition known as post-tetanic potentiation. Basically, that's a big long flash word, but what that means is that the central nervous system gets primed with the lighter weights, is able to pick up the heavier weights, because the heavier weights don't feel as heavy as what they should do, if that makes any sense. So if you're picking up 80 kilograms and you rest, you wait for your performance levels to return, and then you pick up 85 kilograms, it feels like you picked up 80 kilograms. I hope that makes sense. The long shot of all of this is the explosive group has worked out immeasurably harder than the super slow group. I've done both, and I can attest to that. And I've done sports such as cross-country running, I've done sports such as swimming, and I've done such sports as boxing. Boxing, quite an explosive sport, but there's times when you need endurance. Swimming, again, like boxing, it's quite an explosive sport, but you do need endurance. Cross-country running is mainly endurance, but you do need that kick-in power if you're going up a hill, for example, or you're nearing the finishing line. Okay, so that was my point, wasn't it, initially, about the shot putter and the marathon runner. Both need both need levels of both. Both need endurance. The shot putter, if he's shot putting in a competition, he'll he'll throw the shot put, not just once. And so yes, he does need explosive strength. Yes, I agree. But he also needs endurance, so that he doesn't just throw the shot put once, fantastically long throw, and then that's it, he's burnt out. He can't throw the shot put again. The same with a marathon runner, cross country runner. He needs that bit of explosiveness to get up the hill or to sprint to the finish line. So, if I was taking a trainee and they said, I want to become stronger, faster, with more endurance, every single time I would put them on to explosive, that's basically fast rep, with a heavy weight, heavy-ish, right, not so they injure themselves, let's get that into perspective, every single time over super slow. So I hope you guys and girls have enjoyed this. Again, I apologise to any of the really knowledgeable of you out there. If I'm teaching you to suck eggs, I sincerely apologise. It's non-intentional. There will be listeners will hopefully learn something, and they can take that to the gym with them. So thank you all for listening. I hope you have a great day, and I bid you farewell and speak to you tomorrow. Bye for now. Ciao.